Alright, the number 3 factor for bacteria growth is time. Guys, bacteria can double every 15 to 30 minutes, some every 10 minutes. So bacteria can grow in double between 15 to 30 minutes if you leave the food on the room temperature. So guys, to make it short, I just would like to say, even you put the food inside the chiller or refrigerator, it will still spoil after some times. It is just that when we avoid the food, when we take the food to be and we put in the refrigerator, we will not stop the bacteria growth, but we can only slow down the bacteria growth. Over time, bacteria still grow, and then that's why you find, even though you put the food inside the refrigerator, it will only last for a few days only. It will not last for long. Even if you put meat in the freezer, certain meat can last in the freezer like 3 months. Certain meats can last in the freezer like 6 months. After 6 months, it will spoil still. It just slow down the bacteria growth inside the food. So it doesn't stop actually. It will only slow down the bacteria growth. So time is the factor. So it is very important that when you cook the food, you have to make sure every 4 hours you need to reheat the food. For example, if you're opening a restaurant and you have buffet in your restaurant, which the customer will come and pick up food, the food must always be kept warm. As you can see in the restaurant, many of the restaurants, they will have like water bath, not water bath, they call it bain-marie. Bain-marie is actually the steam under the buffet, under the buffet tray. It will always reheat, it will always keep the food warm, because food cannot be left on the danger zone temperature. So the food must always be kept warm above 60 degrees Celsius, we said just now. Guys, next factor is oxygen. Is it true? Okay, yes, after time is oxygen. Oxygen is the next factor that can cause the bacteria growth. I give you an example. Any food that is exposed to oxygen, you will find that the food will be easily spoiled. But if you use the airtight seal package, for example vacuum package, you will find that the food will last for very long time, like months, a few months. But if you put for example meat, if the meat is put on the vacuum packed and you put inside the freezer, it can last for 2 years. But if the meat is not put in the vacuum pack, it will deteriorate or spoil very fast. So oxygen also is one factor that can create bacteria growth. So oxygen must be taken out from the food package, and vacuum pack is the best example to preserve food. Next is moisture. Any food that contain water inside or water content inside the food will have bacteria growing very fast. I give you example, vegetables. Vegetables and fruit is high in water content, except certain hard type of vegetables. So vegetables that have high content in moisture, I give you example, the cucumber. Once you cut the cucumber, the cucumber cannot last for very long time. It can last only like 1 or 2 hours only. After 1 or 2 hours, the smell will not be very good afterwards, and you cannot eat it. So Even the same goes to other fruits like what, like watermelon, for example, or any fruits that contain high in water content. If you cut the fruits, it can only last for a few hours only, like 2-3 hours. After that, it will spoil. So any food that has high moisture content will deteriorate fast. If the food is cooked to dry, guys, any food that have many water content, for example the stew and curry, for example, it will get spoiled very fast. But if you cook the items dry, for example fried chicken, you cook it dry and well done, it will last for longer. But if you cook chicken in the stew and high in water content, you will find that it will only last for 4 hours. You need to reheat the stew every 4 hours. So moisture is another factor for bacteria growth.